All right, everyone, this story isn't quite as funny as the Democrats, really being schlonged in the midterms, which is probably what's going to happen. That'll be funny. For weeks there'll be jokes about how terrible it was. This one's not as funny, though. YouTube apparently is owning up to the fact, oh, yeah, sorry, you know how we banned thousands of conservative commentators over the last 72 hours? Yeah, that was a mistake. We mistakenly implemented, I guess it was algorithmic in nature, or the staff there that they had hired to go through things weren't properly instructed. Now, I hope almost that YouTube is lying. I almost hope that they simply took it too far, realized there were too many pissed off people, and pulled back on censorship that they did intend to implement. And I'll tell you why. If that's the case, it gives us a positive thing in one sense, because it shows us that people's collective ire at the highest level against YouTube censorship works. It actually influences them. That would be wonderful to know, because then we can more effectively defend one another against some of the more abusive NGOs, against some of the craptivist groups, some of the Soros offshoots, maybe a Share Blue, something like that. That would be wonderful to know. Conversely, though, if this was actually a mistake, that means that YouTube done goofed. It really doesn't say good things about their capability of controlling their algorithms, because they've had problems like this before with monetization. They come out, they hammer everybody. Everyone's getting mass demonetized to the point at which, PewDiePie and people like that are speaking out against, saying, what the hell is going on here? 99% of everything I've made, I can't make money off of now. Thanks, Google. Why would I want to use AdSense? They say, well, whoops, it was a mistake, basically. But things haven't improved in the meantime since then. Political commentary is still very much demonetized. It appears to be. It's not just gun channels. A lot of people are saying, well, they're targeting pro-Second Amendment content. They're targeting literally content where people are showing firearms. I guess probably what happened is that their algorithm, which is normally meant to catch combat footage, was catching people firing weapons and declaring it combat footage and striking their material, so they had to appeal. That's a big problem, because it shows what I've spoken of. For instance, people should begin developing language creoles and slang in order to bypass the worst of censorship. It's clear that AI is not capable of dealing with such things. It mislabels everything constantly. For instance, somebody puts up a graphic from CNN, and they get struck down for copyright. Now, in that context, it's obviously under fair use. It's not copyrighted. But they get struck down. Somebody fires a weapon, it declares a combat footage. Someone says the wrong word, it declares it to be harassment or cyberbullying. We've seen that with the Parkland stuff. And it's a problem. What I would like to believe is that the collective ire of the YouTube population, which was significant, I saw it including from people on the left, directed towards YouTube on every front, both on YouTube and also on Twitter, saying basically, to hell with this is crazy. I'm hoping that caused them to back down off of the worst aspects of censorship. Because the other possibility is that a bunch of abusive individuals hired by YouTube, probably from NGOs, they're like, oh yeah, hire this group of people, they should be trusted flaggers, are going across YouTube attempting to purge things, and YouTube gave them a little bit too much of leash, and then had to rein them in a bit, saying, no, you're starting to destroy our platform here. That would be a little bit of a problem. I almost hope that they're lying and that they intended to do this and that they just realized it was a bad idea. That would mean there's some hope of us stabilizing the platform and preventing new censorship. Look, it's already censored enough. Any additional censorship is going to make it unstable. I would argue it's already on the edge of unstable anyway because of, again, ad revenue has become a problem. People feel like they're not being taken seriously. Essentially, you've got a situation, by the way, here, where in banning people and then coming out and talking, like Bloomberg's where I first heard it, which is the funniest thing. The media now reporting on this. This doesn't help YouTube with either the people getting abused and their fans or people who probably support them being abused. By reinstating accounts and taking the strikes away and saying, yeah, I'm sorry, this purge was a mistake, you're saying essentially to the people that were abused, hey, I hope that we're all good here. I don't think that they will be. They're not going to forgive you by saying it was a mistake, and most of them, trust me, because of the kind of content you are striking, won't believe you when you say that. They're going to assume that you're lying to them, so you're not winning any brownie points with them. Meanwhile, people like the social justice warriors, the legacy media crowd, They were very happy to see so many people abused. They were very happy to see it. Right Wing Watch was elated when InfoWars gets a second strike. When some gun owner who, fires off their shotgun gets banned, people who don't like guns, they cheer. They love this. They're now pissed off at YouTube too for admitting it was a mistake and saying, well, this stuff isn't actually against the rules, because they want it to be against the rules. CNN and Right Wing Watch and WSJ and stuff that continuously harass, defame, and bully independent content creators, the same people they used to say were gimmicks. Now all of a sudden they think that we're threats, so they try to harass us off the site. They're constantly hoping that YouTube is going to abuse people like me. They're constantly hoping that YouTube will denigrate as much independent content as possible, because the less independent content that's there, the less they have to compete against. Makes it very easy. They've already got priority status, which means they already get priority results for people in related videos, in search, trending, everything else. They get treated with kid gloves. It's not enough for them. They still can't compete with us. There's too many of us. We compete on literally every subject with these corporations, which is what they are. These NGOs are just corporations. The NGOs, they only exist to exert one of two things, to get one of two things, money or power, which go hand in hand. Those are the only reason any of these businesses exist. CNN doesn't exist to inform people. It exists to make money, because it's a corporation. That's its point. It has shareholders. It has a parent company that expects it to turn a profit. When it goes down the drain on cable and starts losing millions of its audience, yeah, they're going to try to branch out. The only way for them to do that is through essentially a form of ideological warfare against the independent media. The way that they've been waging this is by saying that we're sensationalistic, we're lying to people, we misinform, or we're fanatics. So in other words, a subjective judgment or an out-and-out lie that actually applies more to the legacy media. The same groups that will show you a car chase. It can be a slow-speed car chase, and they'll be sitting there ranting for a fucking hour about, oh, so dangerous, and, this could be a terrorist, and we speculate this person might be, a serial killer. Just rampant speculation, total clickbait. That's what the legacy media became in the 80s with cable, with sort of the police chases and all the weird intrigue and stuff. Sort of what it became, and that's exactly what they project on YouTube and on other sites. Ooh, they're the ones being lying and being sensationalist and fanatic. No, I would say it's more fanatic to try to start a war than to be, totally anti-war, in the case of nothing but self-defense. But okay. Yeah, we're fanatics for opposing war and corporate corruption. We're against censorship. That makes us, we're real zealots. It's a real problem. Anti-censorship has no place in the United States, would say CNN. WikiLeaks is evil. They're Russians because they try to, the government accountability is a bad thing. It's like a foreign conspiracy. It's what they believe. Yeah. YouTube accidentally screws, the pro-freedom crowd. Oh, I'm sure that all of the people who are pro-freedom, look, most of the accounts that were impacted, and the fans of those accounts, fall into several groups. Pro-gun, which they're not going to believe you when you say that it was a mistake. They're going to say, no, we were deliberately targeted, you backed off because our fans said something. And they're probably right when they say that. Libertarian content, in a general sense, not really conservative, libertarian, as in talking about stuff like Parkland saying we shouldn't be censored in doing so. That's the real problem, and news commentary in with that. And number 3, the fringe sort of quasi-conspiracy theory crowd. You could put InfoWars in with that. Now, InfoWars is just on the surface. They talk about these issues. It's not quite, it's not the weird side of YouTube. It's sort of the gateway to the weird side of YouTube. As in, you go to an InfoWars video, and the related videos are the weird side of YouTube. The InfoWars video itself is pretty mild. But do you honestly think that somebody who likes watching Alex Jones is going to believe YouTube, a Google subsidiary, when it says, oh, this is just a mistake, folks. It's just a mistake, nothing to see here. We wouldn't have even talked about it if it weren't for the fact that, Bloomberg was talking about it. It's just a mistake. Don't worry, people. We weren't attempting to censor conservative commentary. The problem is that a lot of these people are self-proclaimed libertarians or conservatives or on the right. Whoop-de-doo, like they're actually going to believe, they already believe that Google is a liberal company. Now, I see past that. It's not really partisan. It's about finances and getting abused by NGOs. I actually do believe Google if it were to say that. But the thing is, that's the way that it appears to be. It appears to be motivated by partisan politics. Don't you see how that's going to be a PR problem? Look, YouTube, it would have been better off just to leave these people banned and not talk to the media about it at that point. That's how bad the situation is. Now, not that that should be done, but from a PR standpoint, it almost would have been better just to be hush-hush and say nothing about it. Instead, they come out and say, oh yeah, that was a mistake. Now, nobody believes that, dude, because it's probably bullshit. And if it's bullshit, that's a problem, but even worse would be if it's not bullshit. You actually made a mistake in implementing an algorithm somewhere and you're being inept for a moment. I think that'd be a problem too. Because what probability is it that you do that again and screw some other group of people? I saw people who are like anti-Trump progressive left. They're getting their accounts banned too. Again, like German Bruin on Twitter. Says, oh yeah, I got my third strike and my account's gone. You know, and all my time was wasted, I guess. Why? Because he was mocking ethno-nationalism. See, I warned that this would happen. Algorithms are incapable of differentiating a sarcastic video that is mocking somebody and a person that's actually making that argument. It has trouble with this concept. Sarcasm is lost on machines. They don't get it. They're not sophisticated enough. Maybe 20 years from now they will. Right now they don't understand sarcasm or intonation. They're too dumb to tell a person at the range shooting off their little pistol from combat footage. Don't you think that's a little bit of a problem? I'm telling you, there's a 99% chance it's what happened. They'll say, well, the staff got it wrong. No, I think it was an algorithm. I think it was a machine that got it wrong. And then the staff just allowed most of those strikes to stand upon review. How are you, by the way, going to go back and remove them if they've already been reviewed? How are you even going to determine which ones were part of that mistaken purge? Is that even something that YouTube is able to do? I guess we'll see. I think YouTube should really, really ease up on censoring the site. I think that a lot of stuff that is currently banned should be unrestricted. And stuff, I think that you should prefer just putting things to 18 plus. That should be the preferred alternative on virtually all, including drugs. Like drugs, you can still get flagged for drug use. There are whole channels that are informative, and all they are is people using drugs. Fucking just, who cares? Who cares if somebody has a meth smoking video? Put it to restricted mode so kids and people on public computers aren't watching it. Okay, problem solved. That's all you need to do. Let schools put restricted mode and libraries and stuff on their stuff so people aren't watching like porn or something. Let them do that. I mean, Jesus, let them handle it. Let parents handle what their kids watch. Let the library handle what it wants watched. Let the school handle what it wants watched on school grounds. Let me handle what I want to watch. Look, I'm an adult. If I want to go and look at gun content, I should be able to do that. And YouTube fucking around. Look, there was another thing where it looked like temporarily an algorithm started blocking any gun-related results from the shopping tab on Google search. I verified this. Now, it appears to have been solved, but it did actually occur. Like, if you looked up, what was it, Gears of Warfare or something, and it had guns in the title. You looked it up, you couldn't find it. But if you misspelled guns, then all the results would come up. Very, very strange, very interesting. And actually, that's real. I don't think you can replicate that now, but it definitely happened. I saw a thread about it on 4chan. I'm like, I'm not sure if believe, so I had to do it myself. But YouTube didn't win itself any fans during this whole fiasco. It took them days to respond, too. Oh, whoops. Sorry. Yeah, our staff got this one wrong. Yeah, sure they did. Yeah, it was a mistake. It wasn't because a million people told you to fuck yourself when you started censoring significant accounts that they're fans of. It isn't that a bunch of people got real mad when people of a certain political affiliation, 3 or 4 of their favorite accounts were bye-bye mode on the same day. They got to feeling it was a purge, it trended, it went viral, everyone was talking about it. The legacy media then stabs YouTube in the back by crowing about how great it is. CNN laughs about it. Right-Wing Watch and Vox and all these laugh about the fact that YouTube is cracking down on conservatives. They like the idea. Now they're going to be pissed, by the way. They're going to say, well, we thought that YouTube was finally tackling the problem of old farmers shooting off their ancient, Winchester rifles. We thought that was a thing of the past. It's the current year. We need to be civilized. Says Jenk, we're trying to have a reasonable discussion. Yeah, reasonable discussion about how best to abuse people out of our way so that we have less competition. That's what it boils down to. It's all about the money.